All right, here's number 1A, and it's a calculator problem, so we got to make sure we're good with our calculators on this. I'll be teaching some calculator techniques. Okay, so we're in quadrant 1 is key, bounded by the graphs here. So I've already typed in the equations. You can pause so you can type them in. And then we're in quadrant 1, that bounded region right there, you can see is right there. So I don't know if I actually need to zoom in. I can kind of see what's happening here, but I am gonna just draw the idea here of the shape. Looks something like this. So that's what I'm working with. And I know that the red line is the x cubed. So this is g of x here. And then f of x is that e graph here. Okay, and then something else I want to note here is back when I typed it in, y1 is this equation and y2 is this equation. That's going to be nice to know, as I'll use that y-vars technique to when I plug it in. Okay, so I'm going to set this up by, like when I start these problems, I need to know that it's an isosceles right triangle, and then one leg is the base. The base then is this line perpendicular to the x-axis. Again, no white space or anything, so I can see what my top minus bottom is. But what I like to do is redraw this line right here going, so I can draw 3D. So this length is this length, and then it's a right triangle. That's an isosceles right triangle here. So then the base line here is top minus bottom is f of x minus g of x for this one. And then that means that's the same as the height f of x minus g of x. So when I set up my integral, I'm going to have to do the area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. The base is f of x minus g of x. And the height is also f of x minus g of x. So I'm just going to put that as squared, dx. I do need to find the intersections of, I'm going from 0 is my first piece up until this point right there. I don't know. So I'm going to have to find that b value by doing an intersection. So let me do that really quickly. Second trace, intersect. And I'm moving pretty quickly, but actually you'll have to get fast at these for the AP test. You don't have a lot of time. Okay, so my intersection is 0.825155. And I'm putting a lot of decimal places there because it's not the final answer yet. So I don't want to round too soon. Even 3 decimal places is considering maybe rounding too soon. And now I got to plug that into my calculator. So to do that, I'm going to just go back to a regular screen here, press math, and then go to the integral from 0 to 0.825155. And then I got to do a 1/2 or 0.5, I guess would work. And then I'm going to put in f of x minus g of x, but I don't want to retype these equations. Maybe they're not so bad, but let's just use the y-vars idea. So I'm going to put another parenthesis here, and then I'm going to use vars, press vars right here. Go to the right to function, y-vars, and then it should be f of x minus g of x would be y2 minus, and then press vars again, go to the right, and then now minus y2. And then I can close that parentheses, square it, and then dx. Do, just as I always recommend, is with these y-vars, it's not always going to be y1 minus y2. Maybe they're switched in certain problems. So you always got to be making sure you label which one's which so you do it correctly. And then we press enter. And I guess that is the volume there. It's not very big, but it's equals 10159. Okay. All right, so that is part A.